Cancer Nation, welcome to your 7-day forecast with Angelic Ascensions. This reading may be a reading that may resonate with you if you happen to have Cancer in your Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus dominant in your natal chart, or if you happen to be cross-watching for a Cancerian. You might find some information in this reading that may resonate. Keep in mind, Cancers, that this reading is general, so there will be some things that apply and there will guaranteed be some things that don't. Please don't get distracted by things that do not apply to your direct situation. Instead, take in what does and disregard the rest. Always listen with an open mind. Sometimes the reading doesn't initially resonate because the events in the reading have not had a chance to occur. Others of you, I'm not speaking to you at all. It's just not your reading. Always have the discernment and the discretion to know the difference. We are always going to talk about topics that are delicate. Take that as a trigger warning. Let's dive in. Let's see what's playing out for the Cancer Nation over the next 7 days. Okay. Cancer, your spirit guides say the way is clear. With something that maybe you've been facing something for a minute. It seems like the path, you've got some sort of decision that you're making. Something is coming up, or there's something complex that you're facing right now. You're having to make a decision about something, and now it seems like the way is clear. It seems like whatever was an issue, or whatever could be an issue, an ongoing thing this week, it seems like something puts you on track, and you're able to move forward. It also feels like somebody has made you the object of their focus, Cancer. Or there's a Cancerian that's doing this to someone in particular, just overly focused on someone. Cancer and cross watchers. Let's see, what's going on with Cancers? Spirit guides say, okay, your archangels show up. Archangel Uriel, disruption, warns of disasters, aids in transformation. I mentioned to you, you're the focus, you're the object of someone's focus, Cancer, or you are focusing on someone. Someone is going out of their way to bring some form of disruption to you. It could possibly be somebody with Aries, Leo, or Sag in their chart. Or this could be you. You could possibly be like a Cancer or Leo. Some of you are definitely dealing with an Aries. Maybe you're going to see an Aries for their birthday. Some of you, maybe you're an Aries elsewhere and you're a Cancer elsewhere. It's a Sagittarius that shows up. Let's talk about your relationships, because it definitely feels like you're hurt right about now. You're hurt because of what somebody said. Maybe you feel that there's somebody that's just... maybe you're looking at them as though they don't have the maturity to apologize or to face a particular situation. Maybe, what is this? There's a Libra that shows up in your reading, if I was not clear. There's somebody that has an issue with being intoxicated. Or maybe somebody just is, yep, you're like, nope, you didn't break me. I think this is your circumstances. Something that's complicated that you're dealing with. Something about your circumstances was complicated. And it looks like it didn't break you. But if we're talking about a relationship, someone, Cancer or cross-watcher, feels that you're holding a grudge. But I think somebody's maybe not ready to face the situation. Because I think somebody caused you a lot of pain. And they're just avoiding dealing with it. Yeah, somebody doesn't want to deal with something that they caused. There's a Gemini that joins your reading. Seems like you're staying in your protective bubble right about this time. I mentioned to you. No, I didn't. I didn't mention it to you, Cancer, but I mentioned it about this week, of the weekend, and the previous all signs I did. The devil has been in everybody's reading. You possibly be dealing with a Capricorn, especially if somebody's looking at a Sag Capricorn cusp. But noted, because I kind of see where this is going. Let's see what's going on between you and somebody. You want someone. I don't know if you want someone to apologize, but I think that there is somebody that is afraid to be vulnerable, especially this King of Swords, Aquarius, Libra, or Gemini. I think you've been going through some struggles. And maybe you feel that somebody doesn't quite understand your struggle. Or maybe you feel like like maybe some people don't accept you as you are. Cancer or cross watcher. What's really going on for the Cancer Nation over the next 7 days? It's a respect thing. There's just a lot going on. It seems like maybe there's somebody that doesn't respect what it is that you do, or they don't agree with what you're thinking or doing. So it seems like there's somebody that's coming in to maybe say something to you, Cancer, cross watcher, suggest something to you. And it seems like somebody's coming across as mean or bossy. It's almost as if somebody is telling you how you should be living your life. Or this is you possibly giving some advice to someone, or this is how people are viewing you. It seems like maybe you feel like you're under scrutiny. You're living your life under a microscope, potentially. It might be possibly how you're feeling, or someone around you might be feeling. You might be noticing a lot of birds around you. It also feels like your spirit guides are going out of their way to maybe trying to restore some order in your life. Because it seems like right now things are kind of out of order. Things in your life are maybe a bit up and down. You're definitely distracted by some things that might be going on around you. Spirit guides, show me what's going on with the Cancer Nation. Oh, it's unhealthy. It's an unhealthy relationship. So right now I think you are kind of backing away from a relationship that you feel is unhealthy. I think you are doing you. And I think somebody else has kind of taken notice that the energy is different. I do think that someone wants to come back around, but I think that somebody feels like they kind of have to walk on eggshells after whatever happened. Cancer or cross watcher. What's going on for the Cancer Nation? I don't know why I'm bringing up September 11th. That's Virgo, isn't it? Virgo season could be relevant for some of you, or specifically that date. You're dealing with somebody who was born in September, possibly. I mentioned Virgo or Libra. Libra, I've mentioned a couple of times already. Let's see, what's going on? Your wall is definitely up. It seems like you're traveling. You're moving around these days, Cancer or cross watcher. And once again, who is it? Here is Aries and is Leo. It seems like maybe you got into it with somebody. What happened? Bear with me, Cancers. I'm trying to figure out what's going on. What got you to this point with this particular person? It seems like somebody is just very confused. I'm trying to figure out what are you confused about? You're confused about some things in your life. You're healing from this. You got some fears that I think that you're facing around this period of time. And you're worried about some things, obviously. You're worried about some things, but you have a positive outcome to some things that you're concerned about. It almost seems like, okay, you've hit a fork in the road. Maybe you don't see that the way is clear. Maybe that's not, okay. Let's back up a bit. Spirit guides say the way is clear. But how you're seeing the situation, you're looking at whatever you're dealing with, whatever is in front of you, as though it's very complicated. And you're not really sure how to get over a particular obstacle that's in the way. But your guides are telling you that they've already worked it out. They're just telling you a little bit more patience. I think you are concerned about your stability, especially your financial stability. If we're talking about your money, Cancer, or cross watchers, the same thing. Maybe you're down to the nub, you're down to the coins in your account. Like maybe you only have a few cents to your name around this period of time. We're gonna see what's going on with your money. I can definitely see that your money is at an all-time low for some of you. And maybe this is something that you're trying to work out. Maybe you've been trying to work something out with your money for a minute, and it just seems like you're chasing your tail. It feels like you're like, when am I ever going to get out of this money pit situation? You're going to be having some old feelings resurface around this period of time. So you might be processing some things that maybe you kind of pushed down, Cancer or cross watcher. I'm trying to see what's going on between you and someone. So it seems like you're feeling extra sensitive around this period of time. Maybe you're feeling particularly moody. Seems like you're feeling overwhelmed. That's what this looks like to me. You're feeling overwhelmed. You're feeling depressed, discouraged. And that just leads me to believe that maybe you don't see that you're about to get on track. I'm trying to see what's going on between you and this person. I think somebody does want to talk to you, Cancer. Or you may want to speak to someone. I mentioned to you, it seems like somebody feels like they have to walk on eggshells in a particular situation. The body language says so much. The body language definitely says that you're hurt. And that maybe you're distant. And that you're distracted by some other things. And somebody feels like maybe you're not really giving them the same attention that you used to. I definitely feel like somebody, what are they trying to do? Somebody does want to tell you. Somebody has a lot of things on their mind that maybe they want to tell you about. If this is a kid, it seems like maybe there's a kid that's deciding, or a young adult, whomever this happens to be, like, I don't need your approval. I'm going to go my own way. I'm going to do my own thing. So this definitely could be an adult possibly trying to give somebody in their life advice. And it seems like somebody is deciding to maybe not heed that advice. And it seems like maybe somebody comes back and they're regretful of maybe that. Maybe there's something that you are saying about a situation that maybe someone does not see about their situation currently. Because it definitely feels that somebody is trying to manipulate someone, trying to manipulate you, or somebody around you is being manipulated and you see what's going on. And like I said, maybe somebody is not receptive to your advice. And maybe that's what this situation is. Maybe you're not going through a situation that broke you, but maybe somebody else is going through it. As I mentioned to you, it's like somebody is coming to you for a shoulder to cry on. So how does this work out? And I think you've had your differences with someone. For some of you, you've had an argument with someone. Maybe there were other people in on it, or other people that were involved. Pisces shows up in your reading. Maybe it has something to do with money. Maybe this is somebody feeling like you're avoiding responsibility. You might feel that there's somebody maybe avoiding paying for something that might be their responsibility. They're kind of skipping out on it. I think you are traveling. Maybe you do just want to go somewhere. I think that there is somebody that you wish would change. And I think somebody's conscience is calling them to make some sort of a change. But this could be you. It could be about your circumstances. Maybe you're ready to change something about your circumstances. Okay, let's see. Who are we dealing with? Who's coming into your energy? You got someone coming in to speak with you? And that's just this whole thing. I definitely feel like this is a kid. It might be a kid that has a lot on their mind. Maybe they want to tell you so many things. but maybe they are deciding to kind of keep it all in and be distant and maybe not really tell you what's on their mind because, as I mentioned to you, especially if this is a child, you've given sound advice to someone and they don't want to hear "I told you so." And maybe it's not an "I told you so" type of situation, but somebody might be under the impression that, that's just the stance that you're giving them, like, "I told you so. I told you shouldn't have done that." I think somebody is worried about that somebody feels like you're going to be playing judge and jury in their life, and they're like, I don't need your approval. I don't need you to play judge and jury. I don't need you to judge what I'm doing, that type of thing. But I think now in hindsight, somebody is realizing that sound advice was correct. So you have a relationship where somebody ghosted you. I mentioned to you, you're healing from the situation, but your thoughts are still on 10, right? Toxic thoughts. It just seems like you're not really, the way that you feel about someone is not really that great. It seems like you're harboring some sort of resentment. I mentioned to you, somebody looks at you as though you're holding a grudge. Like I said, it doesn't mean that you actually are. It just feels like somebody might be under the impression that that's how this goes, and that that's how it is. This seems like if this is an ex, this is somebody that you've already broken up with. You could possibly be attending the party of an Aries, as I mentioned to you. Somebody's birthday is this month for some of you. An Aries, a Taurus. Taurus does come in later this month. Someone could possibly be coming to see you, possibly driving to come and see you. I definitely see some traveling coming up. Especially, okay, some of you could be traveling to go and see friends, or you're traveling with friends. So if this is a friend that you dropped, it seems like that's who's going through something. And like I said, you may be the one that provides that empathy, as I mentioned to you, that shoulder to cry on in a particular situation. Maybe it is you and a friend. Maybe you and a friend are at a crossroads. Some of you are definitely moving. You're house hunting. As I mentioned to you, you're concerned about stability. It's as if you're moving place to place, or you're trying to figure out your living arrangements. You could possibly be concerned about somebody's living arrangements. You might have some odd weather where you are. Maybe one minute is hot, the next minute is raining and stormy. We're in April. There's such thing as April showers. I'm trying to tell you, traveling. You're traveling to someone is traveling to you. In particular, we're talking about family members. So there could be family. There could be a family, thank you, spirit guides, a family gathering that could be coming up. It's either a family gathering, well, I guess it could still be a birthday party. Something brings you and someone together. Somebody could possibly be traveling through. Maybe somebody is extending an invitation to you to maybe spend time with them. And maybe gradually, slowly but surely, maybe you decide to share the same space with someone. I think you've been traveling a lot, like especially this year in particular. At the same time, I think that wherever you are, you don't feel at home there. You might be in a situation where you feel like you don't belong. And maybe that's that whole tightrope situation where you feel like you're walking on eggshells in a particular situation. I think maybe you are just kind of passing through, or there's somebody just passing through and they happen to maybe hit you up out of nowhere, drop you an email, or maybe an unexpected visitor drops by to say hello to you. This feels like. I don't think you exactly know where you're going. Maybe you feel a little bit lost. Maybe literally when you're on the road traveling. Maybe you're like, okay, which way was it? Was it left or was it right? I think it could be that. Okay. So maybe when you're traveling, you're just like unsure of where you're going. Maybe you're in some sort of unfamiliar territory type of thing. I think you might be investing in other people. Maybe you are. Or you got other people investing in you. You're definitely giving guidance to someone. Or maybe you're not sure what you're investing in a particular situation, especially if you're going back into a situation. There's a Taurus. I know I mentioned Taurus already. Let's see, where are things going between you and this person? I mentioned to you somebody could possibly be dropping by. This could be somebody kind of dropping into your dreams, into your thought space, into your feed, because there's definitely something going on online for some of you. I think something didn't work out between you and someone, obviously. Especially after some truth came out, you and this person went your separate ways. I think some of you could possibly be meeting someone. You could be getting back out there, giving love a chance again around this period of time. Some of you Cancerians could be meeting someone new, or some of you are not Cancerians and you're meeting a Cancer. I think you might develop a really strong chemistry with someone, but there's no doubt about it that someone from the past is returning to your life. I think for a lot of you, this is friends, family members, that there's no doubt somebody that you used to share a really good bond with. And yeah, and as I mentioned to you, somebody could possibly be returning to maybe your hometown. Or maybe somebody could possibly be moving back in. Letting somebody back in. I think you might be. This definitely feels like somebody from your past is returning, because spirit guides are very clear about someone from your life, your past, returning to you. I think somebody wants to be a part of your life. I think for some of you, this is a lover. Maybe in particular a Gemini. Maybe somebody does have issues with addiction. I don't know. Cancer or cross watcher, it's your call about whether or not you let somebody back in after what you've been through, or possibly what you took someone through. This could be what you're concerned about. Like maybe you push somebody to the edge and it's just kind of difficult to reel somebody back in. I think somebody recognizes that about the situation, Cancer or cross watcher. I just think that somebody is not clear on how to fix this or to have a happy situation again. You might be heavily into magic. Oh no, are we going there? No, I already see that. We're going to save that for a minute. We're going to come to that. I'm trying to build the context here in your reading. I think I see a little bit about it, but I'm pretty sure there's more to come. I mentioned to you that somebody could possibly be reaching out to you. Maybe there's someone that you need to speak with. This might be, you might be speaking to someone about, this could possibly be someone speaking to you about a job. Maybe this is a financial situation that somebody might need to speak to you about. You're speaking to somebody. This might be about, like I mentioned to you, a job, a financial matter. Somebody comes through. Some of you, this is somebody passed away. That could be, maybe you speak to those that passed. As random as that may sound. If that sounds random to you, disregard that. It's not your message, but somebody may have needed to hear it the exact way that I spoke it. Maybe you've been trying to speak to someone and get in touch with them, and maybe to no avail. It seems like maybe you've been waiting to speak to somebody, or somebody's been waiting to speak to you. I don't know. Like, is it that you don't want to talk to somebody? Aside from this person in this relationship or relationships in your life, it seems like this is something different. Like this might be a job or something else in your life. Spirit guides, what's going on for the Cancers? You're speaking to somebody. Okay, I think I see what you're speaking to somebody about. And yep, that background information, that background story, it's growing. I kind of see where this is headed and why Archangel Uriel shows up in the movie. I think this has something to do with a home situation. Definitely be speaking to a child's teacher. You could definitely be a messenger. For sure, it looks like you're speaking to someone about a financial matter because it seems like that's what you're really almost paranoid about. If you're not worried about it, you're paranoid about it. Financially, you feel confined. And you kind of feel stuck. Especially when it comes to your purpose. Some of you, it looks like Cancer or Cross Watcher, you're living your purpose. You're doing exactly what Spirit wants you to do. But you're struggling. Some of you, you're struggling, obviously, to find your purpose. You're like, what am I supposed to do with my life? What direction am I really supposed to go? It seems like you're not sure right about now. It seems like that's something that you're figuring out. Again, as I mentioned to you, what path to take. The path for you is unknown. You might feel, and that might have you feeling confined. It doesn't, I mentioned to you, it does not feel that you're making the type of money that you want to make. You may want to change your circumstances. It seems like you've run into a little bit of bad luck. You might feel, for some of you, it is bad luck. Let's just talk about it. Some of you, it is. It is evil eye. And you see this whole situation where somebody's doing magic. I was telling you, I see the context building in the background, and we got this card here talking about toxic thoughts. So let's say maybe you do something online, since we're talking about the computer and such. Maybe you do work online. Maybe you work in social media. You do something on television. You do something where, I don't know, you might be a prominent figure. You might not be. Maybe you just here and there you post. I think somebody is coming across something that you're doing. Spirit says they're a parasite. Watch how many times you hear this repeated, by the way. You heard it here first. But watch how many times you hear it repeated. Yes? Somebody is a parasite. And I think that, I don't know, it just leads me to believe that you do something online, you do something on the computer, on social media. Whatever it is, whatever position you're in, I think that it holds a significant value because it seems like you're meant to do what it is that you're called to do. You have the devil once again, by the way. And I think that somebody is trying to bring the tower for you. And I think this is something that, or you just might feel like some of you that this whole thing about magic and such, that's not really going on in your situation. That's for somebody. But for others of you, I think that somebody is just really trying to F with you. I think you've been feeling it. I think you've been frustrated with it. And this is what I mean by it's been kind of difficult for you to feel encouraged, or you've been discouraged about sticking to your purpose because you've faced some form of adversity. And yes, I do feel that someone is trying to sabotage something that you're doing. Somebody in the background is an enemy of yours. And it doesn't necessarily have to be because of magic. This could definitely be because of manipulation. Somebody could possibly be trying to plant a seed of doubt in your head. Or it's just your circumstances. It's the way that things look right about now. You're like, what the heck am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to fix this? You might feel like you see other people around you celebrating, having a great, jolly old time. But when it comes to you, you're like, well, what's really going on in my life? This is what I mean when I was telling you, you might feel like life has just kind of dealt you some bad luck. For some of you, oh, that's not what this is. It's not necessarily that you're having a bout of bad luck. It's that this energy is being sent to you, is being imposed on you by this particular parasite. And for some of you, it's not just one person. It may be several, because you never really know who's behind that computer screen or who's on the other side of that phone or whatever happens to be the case. But in this situation, Cancer or Crosswatcher, I think you know who this might be. I think somebody thinks that they're well concealed, but I think you're very intuitive. Thief, an enemy. Ro was telling you, remember how many times you hear something copied, repurposed. You heard someone say it before, and now you hear somebody else say it. Sometimes it's not about somebody else getting the same message. It's because they're a thief. You got an enemy. Especially, let's talk about it if you're in the spiritual community and you happen to do something online. It's definitely somebody watching. And it feels like the eyeballs in your situation are increasing. So it seems like Spirit wants you to be aware of what's going on around you. But as I mentioned to you prior to this whole, prior to where we're at now in this reading, yes, I think somebody has their eye on you. I think somebody is just hyper focused on you. I think that you are highly spiritual. And I think that you are someone that knows how to defend yourself spiritually. Or to, at the very least, protect your energy. And I think that this is why your archangel shows up in your reading. Archangel Uriel. Because you called on them. Disruptions, warns of disasters, aids in transformation. Warns and disasters. I think this is what someone is trying to cause in your situation. Especially financially. Because it seems like somebody thinks they have you by the ankles. Cancer or Crosswatcher if they F with you financially. I don't want to spend any more time on that. We've already, actually, no. We have to talk about it a little bit more because you have justice that comes in your reading not once but twice. So you definitely get justice for something that was done against you, something that was imposed on you on a spiritual level. Spirit comes in to give you justice. This is what your archangel. You also have Archangel Gabriel. Yes. Your angels come in to handle something for you. This is why we talked about that at the top of the reading. You have this card that says the path was clear. You don't see it because you're so mentally just focused on what your circumstances are looking like. Like I said, something might feel like, you might feel like, oh my gosh, I'm about to break. I can't deal with this any longer, right? You're feeling confined. Spirit guides say they've cleared the way. So whatever was a hindrance for you, or whatever has been, whatever you've been pushing through, Spirit comes through to give you some sort of abundance where your circumstances begin to change, or you gain clarity about how to shift what's going on with you. You might even have some money kind of dropping into your account this week. Maybe this is money that you weren't expecting. Or this is a provision that's given to you by your spirit guides to come and take care of a financial need that maybe you sorely needed. Because it seems like right now Maybe it's just kind of hard for you to solidify any decisions right now because things have just been so up in the air and so just uncertain for you. See what's going on with you. I mentioned you're doing something online. I think you're trying to increase your following. Some of you obviously don't work online. You don't, but I mentioned to you, you're trying to find your way. Like, what are you here to do? Maybe there's a job that ended for you. Yep, spirit guides say, yep, they're here to bring some sort of aid to you. I mentioned to you, this shows up in the form of a human being, or this just kind of shows up in your circumstances unexpectedly. So spirit guides are encouraging you, Cancer or Cross Watcher, to be open to how a particular blessing may come in. Maybe you don't know exactly how this blessing is going to come in or how a financial situation may materialize. It definitely feels that it is capable, your circumstances are capable of working out. And maybe, Cancer or Cross Watcher, it might take for you to speak to somebody. Maybe there's somebody you need to get in touch with. Maybe there's somebody that needs to hear from you. I'm not sure. Or this is you following up with something. You might need to speak to somebody for whatever reason. Especially, as I mentioned to you before, a teacher. Spirit, show me what's going on with Cancer Nation. Relinquish control. This is your angels telling you to release control. You might wish that maybe you had more control over your circumstances. Your guides are saying, let us get it. Let us guide your way. Let us give you clarity. Let us help you to figure out the solution to whatever this dilemma is that's plaguing you. I mentioned to you, clarity comes in for you over this next 7 days. What's going on at work for the Cancer Nation? I keep asking that. No, we've already talked about that. Some of you, you're out of work. Maybe this is someone possibly coming to speak to you about work, about a job opportunity. Maybe this is why your phone is ringing or whatever. Or you get a particular email that solidifies something for you, especially maybe a contract. Okay, I definitely feel that some of you are signing on the dotted line for something. Some of you get evicted. That's what this looks like. That maybe this is something's on your credit. Something's on your record that's following you. For some of you, what's on your, because we did talk about following. Something is following you. It's definitely a person. So if you do post online, this person is one of your followers. As soon as you post, I'm going to call you Capricorn. As soon as you post, you're not Leo, you're Cancer. As soon as I pick up the deck, influencer wannabe. That's what I mean. Somebody is a wannabe in your situation. It's like somebody is copying, trying to replicate what it is that you're doing. That's what this looks like. Work. It seems like there could be some growth coming in for you, Cancer or Cross Watcher, but it also feels like maybe you're worried about deadlines and such. Maybe you're turning in work a bit late, paying things a bit late. Spirit, what's going on with the Cancer Nation at work? Yep, you definitely have some money coming in. One second. You have a job offer coming through, so you're out of a job. And like I said, this is the message that comes through, where this is somebody that's coming to speak to you. You do read tarot. You read tarot, or you do some form of divination. Or you might be going to someone that does, or this is who you're following. And this is who kind of shows up in your feed this week. I think you've been waiting for some money to come through. It comes through. For some of you, before these next 7 days, I mentioned to you, your financial situation seems like it's just, you're stuck, you might feel. Maybe this is not a pay week for you. Maybe it is, though. Because it definitely, yes, you do have some stuff that's past due. You are late for some bills, this looks like. And it seems like maybe you might be paying something like right in the nick of time. That's what this looks like. But like I said, something might have you feeling like you're just down to the coins in your account. Now, maybe you are living paycheck to paycheck. There's something that you might need to pay. Because it seems like your spending is out of control right around this period of time. And like I said, you might have some money come in. You might be like flat broke at the end of this, like right after you pay something, but at least your bills are paid, Cancer. Your guys are saying, look on the bright side. Look on the bright side of things, even though you might feel like you're discouraged about things. At least whatever this is that you're stressed about, it gets paid. Some of you, I think maybe you feel stuck at in a toxic work environment. You want out of there. And maybe you feel limited, you feel confined because of debt. So you might feel like, okay, I can't really leave this job because I have debts to pay. Yeah, it is pretty toxic where you are. We talked about parasites and toxic thoughts and such, and some people that are at work that are not really genuinely good people. At least they're not looking out for you, is what I'm trying to say. They could be decent people. Maybe. Some of them. It just seems like somebody is not really genuinely on your side. People are not really team players at your job. So I think that's something that you're coming to recognize. And maybe this is why you're kind of pulling back around this period of time from human contact. Because you're like, I don't think I really want to deal with people like this. Unless maybe you're a bit of an introvert and you work at a job. Maybe you work with the public. Procrastinating a lot, it looks like. It looks like you have a meeting coming up this week that could be very important. It would be beneficial for you to be prepared for this meeting. Cancer or cross watcher, you might be kind of sleepy, kind of groggy this week. And maybe you're getting a roommate. Maybe you're kind of splitting things down the middle with a roommate. Your inbox looks like it's kind of full, so you might want to check that out, right? Because as I mentioned to you, there's a particular message that maybe you want that you need to come across. It seems like it's a yes. Cancer or cross watcher with something in particular that's coming up. Your guide just saying yes. Something that you've been waiting for. It seems like even though it says, I don't need your approval, I feel that there is an approval for something. There's a yes. It's an approval for a place. Something is a yes. It seems like you're signing on the dotted line for something, and then you got some money coming your way. So something is a yes. As I mentioned to you, it's that you got the place. Stop breaking agreements, as we see here. I mentioned to you there could be an eviction, a foreclosure, bankruptcy. Maybe this is a roommate breaking some sort of an agreement, or you got a situation. What does this say? You did not break me. I think you broke something. Maybe it's literally, but I think there's an agreement. And maybe you're, like I mentioned to you, you're moving from place to place. Some sort of an agreement, but maybe you're starting over. Maybe you're in the military. You're a military brat. Maybe you move from place to place. Somebody might be breaking a lease, or you've broken several leases, several contracts. But like I mentioned to you before, maybe it's an eviction. Something is following you on your record. Maybe legally. Well, I guess that would be an eviction, wouldn't it? Maybe not. Maybe you had a record. You've been in jail before. This is your driving record, this feels like. Somebody have a DUI? I feel like somebody's been locked up before. Anything else, Holy Spirit, that Cancer needs to know about over the next 7 days? Once again, justice. You're getting justice for something. I think there's something you need to pay. I just feel that way. And this is somebody paying their karma. And maybe that karma is just so refreshing to you. Because maybe you're witnessing something happen to somebody else. Somebody that has caused so much harm to you. Someone who has just constantly been throwing this negative energy at you. Seems like you're seeing somebody go through something. You're witnessing it or you're hearing of it. And you're like, thank you. Thank you, angels. It's about time. That might be how you're feeling. Something is very joyous to you. You start off at the beginning of the reading feeling very worried and perplexed, frazzled. But it seems like you look delighted before this week is over. Somebody that has caused great harm to you, you're watching them go through it. No. Like I said, you've been doing magic on somebody. Somebody knows how to throw that back. Maybe that's what that is. There's a Taurus that shows up in your reading. There's a Virgo. Some of you are under investigation, by the way, by the police. What is this? A detective or whatever. And maybe it's not a detective, like an actual cop. But it might be somebody that's playing detective in your situation. Somebody is nosy. Definitely feels like you're getting in touch with your mom. Cancer or cross watcher. You might hear from your mother, whether your mother is the soul that has passed on or your mother is here in the present. Vampire. Come on, let's talk about it. We talked about parasite. Depleting others for your psychic survival. Chronic complaining and codependency. Somebody in your energy may be this. Someone could possibly view you as such. But whatever needs to be deleted, removed from your life, spirit guides come in to remove something that is no longer needed. Comes right out. Detective. And that's exactly what I was saying in your tarot. Like somebody is playing detective. Voyeurism, falsifying information. This is definitely somebody running their mouth. I mentioned to you, somebody is looking into you, looking for your information. Please turn that off. Looking for your information. That makes sense. Turn this TV off, right? Song by Kendrick Lamar. Maybe something is distracting you. I talked to you about that at the beginning of the reading. You're very distracted in your phone, on the computer, something such as this. Or there's a kid kind of distracted by their phone or their friends at school and they're not paying attention to what the lesson is. So what is being said, because it seems like they're fooling around in the background. You got a kid that might be under a lot of peer pressure, whatever. I mentioned to, they may want to tell you so many things, but they're concerned about the way that you may view them or the things that maybe you might have to say to them. Cancer or cross watcher. Somebody did something on the full moon is approaching. Somebody did something to you on the new moon. Okay. Anything else, Holy Spirit? Let's go ahead and close this out. Okay. Be mindful of what's going on when you're driving. There could be a distraction on the road, Cancer, or a cross watcher. There might be somebody that's crossing the street when they're not supposed to be crossing the street. You could possibly be witnessing an accident. Something might be going on with somebody's tire. It might be a blowout on somebody's tire. You might have to make sure you're driving legally or here above the legal limit. This is what I mean. Somebody is driving under the influence, Cancer or cross watcher. And it could be a kid or a teenager type of thing. And let's see, Spirit, what is the advice? Spirit says, ground yourself. Being distracted, unfocused, tired, irritated, and impatient. I mentioned to you at the top of the reading, you might be feeling moody. Yeah. Tired. I mentioned to you that throughout the reading as well. Impatient. They're all signs that you're ungrounded. Now is the time to become centered and allow Spirit to help you ground yourself and reconnect with divine source. Spirit says you're going to have to ground your energy, Cancer. Like I said, things seem like they're up in the air. They seem like they're uncertain. But before this week is over, you get clarity about what to do. Your guides say trust. While your logical mind is dictating a supposedly clear direction, your soul's inner guidance is urging you to follow an alternative path. Your logical mind, Cancer, is telling you to go one direction. Your intuition is telling you to go the other way. That's what this is. That's what this is. So you're not sure what to do. You're not sure which direction to go. It seems like you're not kind of trusting either way. But something is going to require for you to dig in and trust what your intuition is telling you. Your spirit guide is saying it might be a battle between your mind, what your mind is telling you versus your intuition. Your spirit guide say your intuition is correct. The logical path may be one that you consider safe and more familiar, but you could be missing out on boundless opportunities and so much more. Trust. Green is definitely your heart chakra. Spirit guides are telling you trust what your heart is telling you. A father's love. A father's love for his son or daughter never dies. The strength gained from such love is often unquantifiable, and that it can be tapped in at any moment for whatever reason. Whether your father is still here or past, a father's love is one of the strongest bonds any of us will ever experience. Your father is definitely coming through. Cancer, cross watcher, your father, your grandfather, whomever this happens to be in your life, they're definitely here. I mentioned to you during the reading, I think you might be speaking with a particular family member that may have passed. And I was telling you that might sound strange to certain people. And I was telling you that if you feel that that is strange, or how in the world is that possible, disregard it. If it sounds that foreign, it's not your message, but it's somebody's message. Maybe that's what you needed to hear. Maybe somebody passed recently, and this is giving you confirmation that whomever this is that passed on is definitely with you, because maybe you're uncertain about it. Maybe you're uncertain about a few things in your life, but definitely about a passed on loved one, some of you. I looked down and it said intuitive nudges. Intuition is the language of the soul. We are all born aware with a profound sense of inner knowing. Intuition is one of the greatest gifts we possess, which keeps us connected to our higher selves, the universe, and our divine spirit. Somebody have an issue with like heart palpitations, irregular heartbeat, high blood pressure, hypertension. Something's going on with somebody's, I'm trying to say, their heart. Somebody might have like a heart monitor. Maybe you might want to have an AED available. I don't know. It just seems like something could possibly be going on with somebody's heart around this period of time. Random side note. Yeah. Your guys are saying you're going to be getting some intuitive nudges about something. This is how your clarity comes in. The clarity that you're looking for, spirit guides are saying, is found within. Cancer or cross watcher. You don't have to look outside of yourself. It comes through. You might be somebody that doesn't trust their intuition, and this might be a way that you might self-sabotage, or that you have in the past, or you're feeling like, okay, if I trust my intuition, I don't want to get my hopes up. I don't want to sabotage your hopes or this sort of thing. Spirit says you got to dig deep. You got to dig into your intuition. This is what's going to give you that certainty, or to help you see what you don't see. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Is somebody that's on the road around this period of time. So this is going on in like when you're driving, when you're traveling. With that, Cancer Nation, this concludes your 7-day forecast with Angelic Ascensions. If you'd like to book a personal, you can do so by heading to my website, johnsonangelicaascensionstarot.com. You can also stay tuned for the paid live, which will start directly after, not after this reading, but I'm doing Scorpio next. So directly after Scorpio, you can find the paid live. Thank you, Cancer Nation and Cross Watchers, for tuning in. Have a blessed, beautiful, and productive week. I'll see y'all in the next one.